So today we're going to spend a little time talking about grammar. And I know that grammar for many of you is a topic that's not your favorite thing. But as we work our way through the next probably 2 weeks, my hope is that you straighten out some of your misunderstandings and really begin to understand. Now, most of you think of grammar as all these different parts of speech: nouns, verbs, objects, prepositions, participles, appositives, gerunds, all these different parts of speech that for many of you kind of blur into one big confusion, because in verbs we've got action verbs, linking verbs, transient verbs, intransient verbs, we've got direct objects, we've got indirect objects, we've got predicate adjectives, predicate nominatives, and on and on and on. Here's a friend of mine speaking of grammar. Oh, you must know grammar. You must use your brain. If you don't know grammar, you don't look like you have a brain. Do you understand? No. Yes, you do. So much of this video is going to look just like that Korean, Chinese kung fu video. As my face speaks, you might hear something different. So as we talk about our verbs and our adjectives and our participles and all these different parts of speech, especially today, my mouth moving on the screen doesn't necessarily mean that you'll see or hear the same words that you might if you tried to read my lips. So, we're going to focus today on subject-verb-object, the pattern of speech we typically use in English. Hello! Let's learn about subject-verb-object today. It is the essential part of speaking English. I don't want to. Oh! And normally when we talk about subject-verb-object in all different parts of speech, we use a line with a slash like that, and we have a subject-verb-object. Now I'm going to use the word place as my example because the word place can be a noun, it can be a verb, it can be all sorts of different things. It can be subject, it can be verb, it can be object. And let's take a look at an example. Okay, the boy places homework in the slot. Now, the subject of that sentence, of course, is the boy. The verb is placed, and the object is his homework. Okay, his homework is what was placed. So, the boy is the noun. What did the boy do? He placed. What did he place? He placed his homework. Subject, verb, object. In the slot, that just tells you where he placed it. That's kind of irrelevant. We'll look at another example in just a moment. Okay, the place seemed nice. The place, of course, is our subject. Seemed is our verb, and nice. Well, is nice our object? Let's take a look at nice. Nice is not a noun, so it can't be an object. The verb seem is what changes that situation. So here's a little note. An object has to be a noun. So let's take a look at another example. They liked the place. Alright, so now we have they, subject, liked, verb, the place. Now the place is a noun, so it can be your object. Alright? The reason that it can be an object is we have an action verb. An action verb, and especially a transient action verb, can have an object. Now, placing the money on the table, he placed his bet. Now, here we have a whole bunch of information. Now, placing his money on the table, that's just extra information because we know our subject is he. He is a noun. He is what is doing the placing, right? So he is our subject. Placed is the noun. His bet is the object. And again, his bet is a noun, so it certainly can be an object. Now let's take a look at a different word. The lights brightened the room. Alright? So the lights is our subject, brighten is the verb, and the room is our object. Again, subject, verb, object. It's a very simple sentence. It's the building block of almost everything we do in English, subject, verb, object. The candles light the way. Again, let's draw a line. Candles, subject, light, verb, the way is our object. Again, very, very simple sentence. We can add a lot to it, but that is still the main thing that we're going to be talking about for several weeks, subject, verb, object. They always walked toward the light. They definitely is our subject. Walked is our verb. Now, did they walk the light? No. So it cannot be an object. You can't walk the light. Now, if it said they always walk the dog, that'd be fine, right? The dog would be an object, but you can't walk the light. They walk toward the light. So light is not our object. They followed the light. Ah, that's a little bit easier, right? Now it's an object, right? They, subject, followed, verb, light, object. So very, very simple. Subject, verb, object. Now, do we have any questions? Any questions? Well, this is the time when you should write some down, because when we get to class tomorrow, you'll have a chance to ask me some questions about subjects, verbs, and objects, and I'm really looking forward to having a discussion about whether or not you understand how these things work together. Alright, and we will be talking about this more in class. So at this point, write down some questions. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Write me a note in Edmodo, Google Classroom, whatever it is we're using this year. Go ahead and do it. See you tomorrow.